So we first came up with the idea of the Douglas Leadership Institute when, back in 2014, we recognized that there was this need not for right or left, but for really biblically based Christians to kind of have a space in the cultural political arena. The Douglas Leadership Institute was started with this basic idea: engage with Christian leaders, teach them biblical worldview, and help them to apply those biblical principles to life in the marketplace. And when we got started, we focused on doing programs, and we did types of programs that focused on strengthening the black family, supporting criminal justice reform, and securing economic opportunity. And what we found after surveying thousands of African American churchgoers, they were really interested in how do we as a culture support and strengthen the black family, which has been decimated by bad public policy. Further, the increasing interest in criminal justice reform as we began to see that disproportionate numbers of black and brown people seem to be incarcerated. And when we really evaluated it, those were all things that Frederick Douglass was known for. One of the most famous quotes that I'm reminded of from Frederick Douglass is, "It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Douglass was a huge advocate for the family. He was always committed to biblical principles of prosperity. And so those are some of the things that became important for us. One, because they're biblical values. Two, because they were things that Frederick Douglass espoused. And three, because they were important to the culture as we began to evaluate. Yeah, some people ask, what is it that you do? What does your programming look like? And so for us, primarily we do forums. And in those community forums, we have subject matter experts that will talk about these areas, but then we also like to highlight organizations from the local community that are doing good work. So we might have a pregnancy resource center if we're talking about strengthening the black family, or maybe someone that will be from the Fatherhood Initiative. But when we do the forums afterwards, people become enlightened and they want to know more. And so after the forums, oftentimes we'll come back to a city or a region and do training. And we even do training on public speaking, as well as training in terms of how to engage through advocacy. But one of the things that we love to do is to train people how to do grassroots activism. And through that type of activity, we've seen pastors that have gotten so on fire for some of these issues, they have literally gone out and distributed with community groups over 200,000 voter guides. But that's the type of civic engagement that we're training people to do all around the country. One of our strategic pillars at the Douglas Leadership Institute is securing economic opportunity. We are pleased that we are starting a new initiative that focuses on opportunity zones. This is a new legislation that was passed with bipartisan support and signed into law by President Donald Trump. But the idea, kind of set out by Senator Tim Scott, is to basically have investment to go into communities that perhaps were disenfranchised, communities that have not seen economic growth. And so we are partnering with the White House and with Small Business Administration's advocacy to go into communities to help them to learn more about this economic opportunity. We're pleased to emphasize this as a new initiative from the Douglas Leadership Institute. We're partnering with Culver Johnson and Romney and others who really want to see these urban centers become places of prosperity where we see people thriving and opportunities opening. And so we're grateful for the opportunity to work with those in the White House and individuals at Housing and Urban Development to see a real difference and a real change happen in urban America. Frederick Douglass was famous for saying, "I have one great political idea." He said, "The best expression of it I have found in the Bible. It is in substance, righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to any people." And so that's been a foundation for us as we look at our strategic partnerships to really advance the causes of righteousness and justice. And we believe that those are the principles that underline what DLI is all about. And we're proud to say that those are the type of advocacy issues that we believe that Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist, would have us be involved in.